Yes, oh yes, the couple are seemingly wanting to come back to the royal family on bended knee.
Couple are seeking to reverse Megxit.
Harry and Meghan's Hollywood dream is has the bubble has burst.
They want to be liked in the UK now.
These two are a couple of grifters, plain and simple, sweetheart.
Meghan was reportedly desperate to leave Britain after her latest visit became an embarrassing disaster.
The trip turned into a nightmare, forcing Markle and her children to return home to California earlier than they had hoped.
Yet a very different plan may already be forming behind closed doors. A careful return to the royal world she and Harry abandoned. The country she once seemed determined to escape may now offer what California cannot. This is not being described as a sentimental homecoming. It looks more like a move they may feel forced to make.
At the end of the day, the couple learned that maybe escaping wasn't the best thing. The freedom flight, maybe it was a flight into disaster, and Harry only has himself and definitely his wife to blame.
California was presented as the answer to everything. Britain meant pressure, royal duty felt like a trap, and America was sold as the place where Meghan and Harry would control their future. They secured a mansion, major entertainment contracts, famous friends, and rare opportunities. But insiders now suggest the American excitement has faded. Suddenly, Britain is being called Harry's real home again.
Meghan Markle sold Harry a dream. And as he's figuring out, maybe that dream was really a nightmare. And maybe that dream was really about fulfilling Meghan's needs, wants, and desires, and not theirs. As a family, maybe the veil is finally being lifted.
Nothing has been confirmed, and that may be exactly how the Sussexes prefer it. For years, uncertainty has kept their royal story alive. Will Meghan travel? Will Harry stay? Will the children appear? Will the palace welcome them? One source says Britain remains too risky for the family. Another soon claims all four may return. The contradictions keep the public watching and the headlines moving.
It is an admission of failure. It's an admission of desperation, and it's an admission of really the fact that they miss royal life and they miss how important it made them. They're nobody today. They have zero influence.
Are Meghan and Harry truly preparing to spend more time in Britain, or are they testing the reaction first? They may be measuring anger, curiosity, and the commercial value of another royal chapter.
As Hollywood has discovered one simple thing, having a royal title does not make you particularly talented sometimes, especially in the case of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
A permanent move is not necessary. They only need enough speculation to place themselves back inside the royal conversation. From Montecito, they have struggled to remain central to that story. A possible return changes everything. The harshest suggestion is that their Hollywood experiment has reached its limit. This does not mean they earned nothing or received no opportunities. Their early deals were enormous, but the first wave depended on access to a prince, a duchess, and a famous family conflict.
You lot are now going to want to spend more time in a country you found abhorrent, sucking up to an institution that you called racist. Suddenly your kids, the prince and princess, you want those titles. It is complete hypocrisy by both of them. And again, a bit like politicians, do they not suss out that the British public, the silent majority, have an opinion of them that, frankly, isn't going to change?
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple, printable, and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story. After the interviews, documentary, and memoir revealed the biggest grievances, they had to prove audiences would stay without another palace secret. That is where the American promise may have started losing power. The titles attracted attention, but they could not guarantee endless hit shows or a lasting lifestyle empire. Their strongest product was always closeness to the monarchy. As that connection became older and more distant, some excitement disappeared. America opened every door. They may now realize the royal link was more valuable than they admitted.
They're either in or they're out, but they can't do royal engagements here in the UK and then push off across the pond and do commercial work. It's just not an option.
Meghan's willingness to reconnect with Britain is therefore being framed as necessity, not desire. People around the couple say she supports Harry rebuilding ties with his English life, even though she once portrayed Britain as impossible to endure. Perhaps she genuinely wants to help him. But the timing is convenient. Her attitude softens, just as her American image needs new relevance, authority, and royal sparkle.
Meghan is all for reconnecting with his English side, that Meghan wants to come back to Britain. I mean, I thought that she hadn't particularly enjoyed her time here. I mean, what's going on?
Her business challenge is simple. Meghan becomes more profitable when cameras are pointed at her. Fashion, appearances, products, and branding depend on pictures, discussion, and visibility. A peaceful life behind the gates of Montecito may sound attractive, but silence does not create global headlines. Put Meghan near a royal residence again, and every outfit, smile, and gesture becomes international content. She may not want the daily responsibilities she rejected. What she could want is royal status and exposure without the old restrictions.
She has to, basically. Her numbers, her popularity is just flooring. It's at the absolute lowest it's ever been. As Ever is not selling. She's kind of running out of options. So she needs several things. Number one, she needs to go have the royal sheen put back on her. And also, she needs to be seen and accepted by the royals.
Meghan could attend selected occasions, stand beside Harry at charity events, look connected to the king, and then return to private projects overseas. That would provide the spotlight without full royal discipline. It would resemble the half-in, half-out arrangement they wanted from the beginning. Harry's reasons may be even more personal. Not long ago, people around the couple insisted he loved California and had no wish to return. Now the message sounds completely different.
Meghan is supportive of this. I mean, is it like the last resort because nobody wants to buy your loose fruit spread, perhaps? But, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Their behavior lately has been so strange.
Yeah.
And to want to spend more time in the UK because things just aren't working out in the United States.
Britain is being called home again. Harry reportedly wants regular visits, renewed links with former charities, and a chance for his children to understand the country that shaped him. Such a reversal suggests California may not feel as complete as it once appeared. Freedom is thrilling when new contracts arrive. Invitations are endless, and the world follows every move.
The fairy tale isn't so fairy after all. Meghan especially can hustle, but hustle only gets you so far in the entertainment industry, as it turns out. So the couple, of course, are looking at absolute disaster here, and it feels very much deserved.
It feels different when projects slow down and Harry realizes he lives far from the role that gave him a clear identity. California offered escape from duty. It may never have replaced the purpose that duty gave him. This is why the claim that the veil is lifting has attracted attention. One source suggested Harry once followed Meghan so completely that love shaped every major decision. But he may now see the situation differently. It does not prove their marriage is collapsing or that he blames Meghan.
Maybe, just maybe, Harry is realizing his wife really sold him a bag of rotten apples and he ate it and he was in the spell, and now the spell is slowly being broken.
Still, could Harry be recognizing that the future they created reflected her ambitions more than his own? Consider the parts of his old life he appears to be chasing. Britain, military links, long-standing charities, family history, and public warmth. All existed before Megxit. Harry may be learning that he did not simply leave an institution. He also abandoned the version of himself people understood and respected. His latest charm campaign may be an attempt to recover that identity.
Harry more so probably thinks, based on his recent visits, that he comes back to the UK, kisses and makes up, and everybody loves him. It seems as though they want to come back and they want the best of both worlds, that Harry's grandmother, the Queen, forbade them.
And she did. She said, you're either in or you're out, because with those, they do no work and they want everything that comes with being a royal. And that's the point. That's the crux of the matter.
His recent effort to revive the mischievous prince fits that pattern. There has been less therapy language, fewer speeches about victimhood, and more risky humor that once made him relatable in Britain. The result may have looked awkward, but the goal was obvious. Harry wants audiences to remember the playful royal figure, not only the bitter man attacking relatives from California. The biggest obstacle is that Britain may not react with the emotion they expect. The most damaging outcome would not be hatred. It would be a public that has moved on.
Bizarre as it was, as you said, there's a kind of sense of whiplash with that Joe Marler podcast. But I think this is Harry wanting to be liked, and he's trying to be appealing again to ordinary people who have, not enjoyed being called racists and not enjoyed the things he said about his family.
Anger still produces debate, views and headlines. Indifference produces silence. If people no longer care whether Meghan arrives, leaves, waves, or complains, any comeback loses the attention it needs. That possibility may explain the sudden charm offensive. Criticism can be endured because it keeps a celebrity relevant. What becomes impossible is fading in America while also being ignored in Britain.
When Harry, was madly in love with Meghan, he could be blind enough to choose her. Now things are different and the veil is lifting. My goodness.
One market losing interest is dangerous. Both sides of the Atlantic losing interest would be devastating. A return could be designed to restart the publicity machine before it stops completely. The public explanation will focus on family. Harry misses his father, the children should know their relatives, and Meghan supports her husband. Some of that may be sincere. Yet many will wonder why this need became urgent only when American opportunities weakened.
If Hollywood was totally Harry's idea, or if they had actually made the decision as a couple together, he would be like, yeah, let's keep going. I'm done with my family in working status. We can have a good working relationship with them. They could have exited in a dignified manner, I think, because other royals have done it. It's totally possible. You don't have to be a working royal for the rest of your life. If you're lower on the line of succession, you don't have to do that. But Harry made this decision based on the stresses and the pressure that Meghan was putting on him.
Harry had years to rebuild trust quietly. Instead, personal conflict became television, interviews, and a best-selling memoir. Reconciliation cannot be built through anonymous press briefings. Harry and Meghan reportedly accepted that a private meeting with the king would remain private, with no cameras, social media reveal, or detailed account. Even so, people linked to them are already discussing hope, future plans, Meghan's support, and America's declining interest.
And Harry is surprised and defeated that America hasn't responded to him in the way that he thought ultimately they would. And so he is planning on, they called it Project Thaw before, but is planning to spend more time in the United Kingdom because he just feels like he's not going to be able to cut it in the States.
The exact conversation may stay hidden, but its meaning is already becoming a public storyline. That leaves Charles exposed. A father may simply want time with his son and grandchildren, but one private meeting could be presented as royal approval or the first stage of a comeback. The Sussexes do not need Buckingham Palace to announce anything. They only need people to believe the door is opening. Personal kindness could create commercial credibility before any official role exists.
Harry's proven he can't be trusted. He's done it too late. He's made the decisions. He made the decision to write spare. He can't take that back. It's kind of like you can say something to somebody, let's say something nasty, but if you write it down, it makes it worse because that person can reread it over and over and over again. So it's why you need to be careful what you say and what you write. Don't write things down. Harry wrote an entire book embarrassing his family. He had an entire Netflix series also that embarrassed his family. I don't think William will be quick to forgive or have any interest in reconciling. He may be interested, let's say, in one day forgiving Harry just for his own mental health. But I don't think there's any route for Harry at this point to have a strong relationship with his brother.
For that reason, the palace would likely control every detail of another visit. If Charles wanted family photographs, an official photographer could take them and the palace could decide what was released. Meetings could include trusted staff, selected rooms, and clear limits on information. Those precautions would make it harder for a private moment to appear later in a documentary, magazine, or business campaign.
They're still talking despite the fact that, according to reports over the last few weeks, King Charles asked them to keep their mouths shut, especially about their meeting. But yeah, I just think that a lot of people would be really upset.
Meghan might find that control difficult because control over her image matters greatly. A royal property could provide protection, privacy, and prestige, but it would place the couple inside a system they could not manage. There would be no private photographer in the corridors, no instant social media reveal, No staged picture, proving a complete welcome. The palace could allow access while owning the story.
So Harry has had a long time to pursue this path of freedom, if you want to call it, isolation, emancipation. He needed to get out from his family. I can see that. That was an imperative for him psychologically. But now he's done that. He doesn't want to carry on doing that because he sees what the end game is with Meghan, whose father was desperately ill. She didn't go see him. And there's still absolutely no contact between them. That's not what he wants. And he has said that's not what he wants for him and his children. So he has to start to, turn his head towards the UK.
The security argument also becomes harder to explain. Harry spent years saying Britain was not safe enough for Meghan and the children without the protection he demanded. What changed? Did Britain suddenly become safer? Or has Harry accepted that the palace will not redesign the system around his conditions? There is also a practical reason Harry may need Britain. Invictus. The Birmingham Games require excitement, sponsors, and financial support.
For them, that's a massive thing to admit that the dream hasn't worked. I mean, I've read, it's briefing as well when you hear, when he misses his family and he misses England. What he didn't when he was slagging them off and getting millions of dollars to just put the boot in, but suddenly all of a sudden he's discovered that he's, and the way they'll play it is, I need to see my dad and I need to do this, but they'll never be bought. I mean, I could be wrong here, but I don't believe the British people will buy it for 1 second. I think the British people are not cynical.
Harry remains their most recognizable figure, but his arrival alone creates one level of interest. Meghan and the children beside him would turn the build-up into a worldwide media event. Greater coverage can lead directly to greater sponsorship. Invictus gives Harry an ideal explanation for returning without announcing a royal comeback. He can say the trip is about veterans, charity work, the games, and his children. At the same time, he gains British coverage and the familiar image of Prince Harry doing meaningful work on UK soil. The event offers respectability and a path back into public life without restoring a royal position.
Harry and Meghan left the royal family with big egos on their shoulder. They thought they were the creme de la creme, that the entertainment industry would fall all over them to give them deals and monies. And yes, Harry and Meghan did achieve that. But when you have just nothing but flops in your wake, 1 or 2 successes, but only based on your connection to the royal family, Netflix isn't stupid, Spotify isn't stupid, nobody's really all that stupid. They're looking at this couple going, unless you can sell us something royal, you're not worth it.
Portugal could make the arrangement easier. Their reported property there may become more than a holiday base. It offers a bridge between California and Britain, allowing longer periods in Europe without openly moving back to the country they criticized. Portugal is close enough for short flights, private enough for their lifestyle, and useful if Harry wants the children nearer to his wider family. That may be the real transition. Meghan and Harry would not need to abandon Montecito in one dramatic announcement.
The house in Portugal is part of the plan of getting back to Europe and back to the UK.
They could spend more time in Portugal, increase visits to Britain, and make European appearances feel normal again. If California begins to look isolated or commercially exhausted, Portugal offers a polished explanation. They would call it connecting the children with Harry's heritage, not retreating from America. What level of access are they truly seeking from the monarchy? Full working royal status may not be necessary. Even a limited connection could be valuable.
This actually can be really useful to them as a sort of staging post now.
One approved appearance, one stay at a royal residence, or one controlled photograph near Charles could change how publishers, television companies, and brands view them. Active royal proximity is worth far more than memories of a role they left years ago. A small palace concession could become a huge victory for the Sussex brand. Meghan and Harry could remain independent whenever commercial freedom benefits them, then appear almost royal during selected trips.
He and Meghan also killed their own American dream with excessive greed, very many dismal productions, and the inability to learn and grow. They thought that the royal title gave them everything, but as it turns out, it gave them some things, but now they'll probably end up with nothing.
They could arrive, receive worldwide coverage, and leave before the rules became uncomfortable. The late Queen rejected that structure because private profit and public service should not mix. The couple may now try to build it gradually without formal approval. Harry seems more willing to compromise because he may need the connection more than Charles does. The king has emotional reasons to seek peace, but Harry needs relevance, purpose, access, and a believable future.
If you look at the media that was generated while he was there, for the most part, he was rejected. And the nightmare wasn't just the trip. It was discovering that the privilege of royalty, doesn't automatically survive after you quit your job.
Reports that he accepted strict privacy terms without another fight suggest a major change. He may understand that the monarchy can continue without him more easily than he can rebuild importance without it. Meghan's reported support may show how limited their alternatives have become. If giant Hollywood offers were still arriving, would she truly be eager to return to the country she blamed for so much pain? Would she accept palace control over images and information? Would she face people who may still distrust her? Perhaps. But avoiding Britain may now offer less value than reconnecting with it.
We don't have amnesia. We remember that you made the Queen's last few years on Earth a living hell. Prince Philip's last few moments on Earth a living hell.
The central contradiction has never disappeared. Meghan and Harry demanded separation from royal life while keeping the titles. They criticized the institution, but continued relying on its status. Britain was described as unsafe, yet the family may return. They spoke about financial independence, but their value rises whenever the monarchy enters the story. They want royal benefits under rules that suit their private ambitions.
Harry never wanted to be estranged, but he was madly in love. Now the veil is lifting. So in the Bible, it does say the heart is deceitful above all things. So sometimes it's better to lead with your head than your heart, because your head can logic things through. Your heart, if you're madly in love, not so much. And then again, this is very Diana coded. Harry has a lot of Diana's features here.
People around them are already speaking as though the process has started. Reports mention small steps, better relations, more visits, and possible stays near royal properties. The larger vision may include the whole family appearing in Britain around the 2027 Invictus Games. That language sounds like a team convinced the door is no longer fully closed. They may believe a private meeting opened it enough for the next stage. Yet a slightly open door is not a restored royal career. A private conversation with Charles does not create an official position. Staying in a royal residence does not return Harry to public duty.
Even more confirmation of how badly Harry wants back in just goes to show and prove that Harry and Meghan leaving was a massive mistake, probably led by Meghan, that Harry really didn't consider. And as they get to Hollywood, they're finding out that, well, maybe the industry is interested in you for a couple of moments here and there. But then the industry figured out something. That yes, somebody has a royal title, and yes, that's cool. And yes, maybe you can sell some things on that. But a royal title does not mean Harry and Meghan are producers. It doesn't mean they're authors. It doesn't mean they're actors. It doesn't mean anything. A royal title doesn't magically imbue you with the talent you never ever had. And Meghan had no talent in the entertainment industry, which is why she was a middling player, if not C and D list her entire career.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now, let's get back to today's story. A father meeting his son does not reverse Megxit. Meghan and Harry may blur those differences because appearances carry financial value. Once they are seen near the king, the image begins working commercially before anything formal changes. The British public may refuse that presentation. People remember the accusations, documentaries, interviews, and years of conflict. A sudden campaign built around family and forgiveness may not erase the past.
Find it so funny. Harry did the freedom flight. He was so excited. And now it's dead. Who could have thought? Me, and basically everybody.
Meghan can change her clothes. Harry can revive old jokes, and their team can say everyone wants peace. The public can still remember how private family pain became an international entertainment business. That is why a gradual return may be one of their riskiest strategies. A warm British reception would restore royal shine that America no longer provides easily. A cold response would expose the weakness of their brand. Tight palace control would take the story away from Meghan. Too much freedom would feed the same commercial operation the monarchy once tried to separate from public duty. Every outcome carries danger.
Harry isn't all that happy in California. And as you know, as my source said, a different source, you know, the veil is lifting. Things seem to be shifting, right? And that glorious freedom/isolation is no longer seeming to suit Harry, and he wants reconnection.
So what is actually happening? Is this a lonely prince reconnecting with family, or a celebrity couple searching for a stronger product? Is Meghan reconsidering Britain because she understands what Harry lost? Or because British visibility is worth more than Montecito privacy? Is Portugal simply a holiday destination? Or the first organized step away from the American dream? Is Charles welcoming his son while a commercial strategy waits behind him? One conclusion is difficult to avoid. Meghan may have left Britain quickly after a reported nightmare, but California could become even more threatening. Less attention, fewer deals, and an audience that has heard every royal complaint.
It's extraordinary how completely Harry and Meghan have withdrawn from American life. They don't seem to have any charities. They don't seem to have any public work. They don't seem to be out and about particularly very much, apart from a few kind of local things. Or, you know, it was a slight surprise to see Harry at the Time 100 the other day.
Britain was meant to remain behind them. It may now be the clearest route back to relevance. Meghan and Harry called Megxit freedom. Their next move could show that freedom never felt complete without the royal spotlight they left. To see how this story develops, subscribe to Hollywood Yesterday and turn on notifications. The next move from Meghan and Harry could reveal whether this is a family reconciliation, a calculated return to Britain, or another attempt to rebuild their fading royal brand. We will keep following new reports, palace responses, and surprising shifts in their plans in this saga. Do you believe they are genuinely ready to repair the damage? Or are they only returning because America no longer gives them the attention they expected? Share your opinion below, and stay with Hollywood Yesterday for everything that happens next.